So in one of Ayurveda's most important ancient texts, the Ashtanga Hridya, there's this one chapter that just, well, it seems completely out of place. I mean, at first glance, it looks like maybe the most boring, useless part of the entire book. But what if I told you it actually holds a secret key that unlocks the whole system? Let's dig in and find out what it is. All right, just imagine this for a second. Let's say you're an ancient medical student. You open up this vital textbook, you're super eager to learn how to cure diseases, and then you get to a chapter that's just a list, a really long, dense list of names. You'd probably think it was some kind of mistake, right? Like, who put an index in the middle of the book? Okay, so let's dive into this thing. We're looking at chapter 15 of the Ashtanga Hridaya. It's called the Shodhanadi Gana Sangraha, which is a fancy way of saying it's a collection of herbal groups for purification and other therapies. And that is exactly what you find. I mean, unlike all the other chapters that are talking about how to diagnose an illness or prescribe a cure, this one is just a long, what seems like a totally random list of herbs, all grouped under these really arcane Sanskrit names. It just feels so out of place. And here we go. This is a direct quote from the text, and it perfectly shows you the problem. I mean, look at that. It's dense, it's in Sanskrit, and the entire chapter just goes on and on like this. You can totally see why it feels like an appendix that someone accidentally dropped into the middle of the book. So this is really the central mystery, isn't it? Why would you waste all this precious space in a vital medical text on something that's so, well, static? This can't just be filler. You have to remember, these ancient texts were meticulously crafted. There has to be some kind of hidden function here, a secret purpose for this chapter. So how do we solve this thing? How do we crack the code? Well, we have to decode the chapter's hidden structure. Turns out the secret isn't in reading the list from front to back, but in understanding how it was designed to be used. And the entire key, the whole thing, boils down to this one word, Gana. Now, it translates to something like a group or even a troop, but in this context, it is so much more sophisticated. See, a Gana isn't just a random collection. It is a carefully curated team of herbs that all work together to achieve a very specific therapeutic action, like reducing inflammation or promoting detoxification. This means we need to completely reframe how we look at this chapter. It's not a boring list, it's a high-efficiency index. It's brilliant. Think of each Gana as a pre-formulated recipe, or like a keyboard shortcut. Instead of having to list out 10 different herbs every single time, a physician just had to name the one Gana that performed the exact action they needed. Okay, this is where it all comes together. This is the reveal. Let's see how this brilliant indexing system is actually put to use throughout the rest of the Ashtanga Hridaya. You see, the entire text operates on this kind of call and response system. When a physician is reading about a specific disease in, say, another chapter, the text will tell them exactly which Gana to use. They then just flip back to our so-called boring list in chapter 15 to get the precise herbal formula. It's a cross-referencing system. And here's our first piece of evidence. In chapter 11, which deals with the doshas, the body's fundamental energies, we find this direct instruction. Now notice it doesn't list out all the individual herbs. It just calls the function, Jivanyaya group. And it even tells you right where to look, mentioned in chapter 15. And the application for this one is crystal clear. When a patient is suffering from a decrease in ojas, which you can think of as vitality or that essential life energy, the text prescribes the Jivanya Gana, the enlivening group of herbs. So a very specific problem is met with a pre-formulated, indexed solution. It's incredibly elegant. And believe me, this is not a one-off. Let's look at another example. This one's from chapter 27, which covers venesection, a very carefully controlled form of ancient bloodletting. And once again, what do we see? A direct callback. Use the Padmakati Gana, and the text explicitly says Vide chapter 15, which literally means see chapter 15. The purpose here is super specific. After that surgical procedure, to control and stop the bleeding, the physician is instructed to prepare a drink from the herbs that are listed in the Padmakati Gana. It is just incredibly efficient. Okay, one more, just to drive it home. This one's from chapter 29, which is all about surgical operations. To treat septic ulcers, the text prescribes washing the wound with a preparation made from the Sursadigana, and, you guessed it, with a clear reference right back to our master index in chapter 15. In all these examples together, they just brilliantly illustrate the entire concept. Chapter 15 isn't a chapter you're meant to read from start to finish. It's a tool you're meant to use. It's basically a database, a foundational key that makes all the book's treatments functional, repeatable, and standardized. The mystery is solved. So, what does this all mean in the bigger picture? Well, it reveals this incredible level of sophistication in how ancient knowledge was organized and then passed down.
I mean, the genius here is really multi-layered. First, it takes what could be an overwhelming amount of herbal information and makes it totally manageable. Then it creates a simple, effective shorthand for doctors, which in turn allows for treatments to be standardized and repeated accurately generation after generation. It basically transforms a simple list into the foundational toolkit that every Ayurvedic practitioner relies on.
So, the crucial point really is this. We started with what looked like the most useless chapter in the whole book, and we discovered that it's actually the central processing unit. It's this elegant, efficient system of data management that was designed for real-world medical practice thousands of years ago. It's just amazing. And this kind of leaves us with a final, much broader thought. This ancient text reveals a pretty profound principle, that the simple act of classification, of naming things, of grouping them correctly, it doesn't just organize knowledge, it actually unlocks its power. I mean, think about it. From the periodic table of elements to the code libraries that run our entire digital world, where else do we see this exact principle at work today? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me.